Mrs. Chris' question, I don't believe is material or relevant to the present.
Which one do you think is relevant?
The tutor of Achilles?
So pretty soon
He could argue as an expert.
That you think might be relevant to the case.
As it just did.
Hey, Lisa, could you pull all the relevant clips on that?
why this is relevant?
I don't think that is very relevant, Mr. Hockney.
Did it interpreted in a scientific way may quite possibly be relevant.
You were not there, but...
Relevant, relatable, extremely fuckable. Good work.
I'd like to answer
Mr.
that.
Chairman, Mrs. Chris' question, I don't believe is material or relevant to the present inquiry, although I want to make it clear that officers...
There are 25 references in the current encyclopedia.
Which one do you think is relevant?
The tutor of Achilles?
It's very interesting. I didn't know that one.
Without counting everything.
So pretty soon the relevant numbers weren't enough. I had to know all the irrelevant numbers.
It's not relevant, Jack. He could argue as an expert.
No. And there's nothing she ever said that you think might be relevant to the case, personal life, friends?
Yep.
When were you going to tell me that?
When it became relevant. As it just did.
Oh, the torpedo's in the weapons bay.
Loaded and ready to fire. What?
Hey, Lisa, could you pull all the relevant clips on that for me?
Yeah. Is this a spotlight?
He's a babysitter, Your Honor, of sorts. A paid position. May I ask why this is relevant?
Is your client aware that Mr. McKenna takes her...
We hope you found it entertaining, whimsical, and yet relevant, with an underlying revisionist conceit that belied the film...
And fuck you. How do we know you work for Soze?
I don't think that is very relevant, Mr. Hockney. All 5 of you are responsible for the murder of Saul.
Whereas a group of meaningless facts that are collected and interpreted in a scientific way may quite possibly be relevant. Because the wonderful thing about scientific theories...
Good morning, sir. Anything I could interest you in today?
You were not there, but... I wouldn't say it was relevant. I can't give you that much. It cost.
I'm actually excited about this next guest. Relevant, relatable, extremely fuckable. Good work.
Welcome to CSI Hard News.
I mean, the relevant issue here is whether I've been messing around in New Essex, and I have not.
Diction. His whereabouts are currently unknown, but is being sought and pursued by the relevant authorities.
Who is he?
Doesn't make some attempt to meet her lover.
I object, my lord.
This line of questioning doesn't seem particularly relevant.
Oh, but it is, my lord. I'm trying to establish a motive.
What about fish? Freshwater and salt. Well, all living creatures would be relevant to our discussion, sir. If you will excuse me, I had no idea that...
We're working up a complete profile based on relevant personal histories and opera.
Find the disease. Write me a new scene. The egg will drop from my face, and we shall have a relevant screenplay. Maybe. Ask
conversations with the demon. We may ask what is relevant, but anything beyond that is dangerous. He's a liar. The demon is a liar.
I can't comment on that. It's confidential. The relevant portions will be released in a couple of days. You can listen for yourself.
Temperature for this day. Tomorrow promises to be more of the same, with relevant numbers way up there in the 90s, humidity to match, and maybe just...
What about his girlfriend?
Is she relevant here? Is she a suspect?
She's a suspect.
On what basis?
Girlfriend, Catherine Trammell.
This is a highly unusual case. Sorting through the relevant case law is going to be a major undertaking. I'm going to have to ask you for a $25,000 retainer to start.
For our tombstones. Why didn't you tell me this earlier?
It wasn't relevant yet.
I need to know where they are. We need to know. We need to find them.
In that time, how often was Henry Young allowed outside for exercise?
Mrs. Stamphill, I do not believe that the exercise time of an inmate is relevant.
Oh, I do. Answer the question.
Objection.
We have Valentine's confession. The intelligence has been passed on to the relevant authorities. Our work is complete and a most distinguished...
Sussman?
Yes.
Is it relevant?
Well, isn't that what you're telling me?
Okay.
Well, guess what? There's an entire world out there where people fight to be relevant every single day, and you act like it doesn't exist. Things are...
The killings, torture, terror.
Why are you bringing this up now?
It's relevant.
The man was just turned down for tenure.
Deeply into the controversial subject of witchcraft, a great deal of relevant information may be found in the following works.
Your government has instructed you to relinquish the patient and all relevant files to our custody.
Whitman.
Well, he wouldn't want you either. He was a homosexual. But that's not relevant. What's relevant is that he was a medical man. He was a nurse in the Civil War and wrote great poetry.
How the hell did you grow up without reading Hansel and Gretel?
Is that really relevant right now?
Everything I'm trying to say to you is about Hansel and Gretel. If you didn't read it...
Supposed to help us survive.
Surviving is not relevant.
My sermon for this morning is particularly relevant.
Hold it, hold it! I'm sorry, Reverend.
Issues or overtones that may not be raised in this courtroom. The tribunal is interested in everything that is relevant. The objection is overruled.